Hello, and welcome to the Carla Knits podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, sometimes crocheting, but always all of the yarny goodness that I love. Today is Friday, November 19th, and I am coming to you from a very blustery day again here in Nebraska. This is episode 34. I don't know if I just said that, but sorry, episode 34. I'm so glad to be joining you today. So thank you so much if you are coming back, if you are a returning viewer, and if you're stopping by for the first time. Thanks for checking this channel out. You can find me on social media as cbcraftygirl on Instagram and Ravelry. And we do have a podcast group for Carla Knits on Ravelry. And currently in that group, we have the HollyJollyMAL or Make Along, which started November 1st and goes through January 15th. And it's anything that you are making in this festive time of year, whether it be for Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa, if you are making ornaments or decorations, if you are making gifts for people, if you are making Christmas socks for yourself. As we are approaching December, there may be some of you who have purchased yarn advent calendars, and anything that you make with those yarns and those calendars would be eligible to participate in this make along. So I am hosting it on Ravelry, and there is a chatter thread and a finished object thread. There has been quite a bit of chatter going on, as well as a number of beautiful finished objects. So if you would like some inspiration maybe for your gift knitting or just something special to knit for yourself, I would suggest checking out those finished objects because they are lovely. You guys are doing a wonderful job. I know I haven't responded to everybody in the chatter section, but I'm trying to be as engaged in there as I can. So I appreciate all the participation. It's so much fun, and I am reading everything and checking your finished objects out. So very, very much fun in that group right now. So we'd love to have you join in. There's plenty of time for some festive making. So when that comes to a close, I will be drawing prizes from the finished object thread as well as the chatter thread. Last week I showed a beautiful bag donation. This week I have a couple of donations, prize donations that came in. These are from Lumberjack Yarn, who is on Etsy, and she is on Instagram and Ravelry, I believe, as Lumberjack Yarn. She is a yarn dyer and also bag maker now from Muskegon, Michigan, which is very close to where I grew up, and I had aunts and uncles that lived in Muskegon. So, and actually I spent many Christmas Eves at my great aunt's house in Muskegon. So that place is near and dear to my heart. But on to the prize donations. So she, Danny, thank you so much, has made a couple of cute bags. This black and white plaid. It's got the snaps on the top for closing, and it's got this nice side handle. So this would be a great sock sack or even a two skein project, a small shawl or hat or mittens. So that is a wonderful size bag. And then this one, a very Christmassy, festive feeling. I love the sugar cookies on there. So again, snaps on the top and the nice side handle. So 2 bags Danny sent for us, as well as a couple of sock sets. So this one is not named, but it is a beautiful pink with some purple. It looks like a little bit of a purple wash over it as well, with this coordinating purplish mini. So that would make a great fun pair of socks. And then the other one she sent is very Christmassy. So I love this green. It's got some washes of blues or almost tealy turquoises over it. I love this green, Danny. It's beautiful. And then that coordinating red mini. So that would make a lovely pair of Christmas festive socks. That evergreen tree sock pattern that I made 2 times this year. That would be super fun in this. I could just imagine that. And this sock set she's calling festive socks, so very appropriately named. So these will all be prizes towards that make along. And if you are a maker of any kind, whether it be progress keepers or a yarn dyer, bag maker, stitch markers, pattern designer, and you would like to donate to the podcast, to the make along, or just to the podcast for a giveaway, that would be greatly appreciated. And you can always reach out to me with a message on either Ravelry or Instagram. And I truly do appreciate those of you who have donated prizes. That is just very kind, and very helpful of you to do that. So thank you, Danny, and again from last week, Susan of Delightful Works. All right, let's see. We still have that Ask Me Anything thread on Ravelry. It's been kind of quiet, so I guess no questions, which is fine. But if you ever have any questions for me, it can be about knitting, crocheting, yarn, specifically questions about techniques, or just questions for me in general about life in Nebraska, or anything you're curious to know. Please feel free to put a question in that Ask Me Anything thread. It's just kind of fun. All right, I guess on to some knitting and making today. So I am wearing a shawl that I knit several years ago. This is called the Jodi shawl, designed by Locatelli for the Grocery Girls Jodi. She designed a Tracy shawl, and this is the Jodi shawl, and this is a 3-skein DK weight shawl. At the time, I thought that would be much more manageable than a large fingering weight shawl. So I don't recall all of the yarns I used, but I did use single ply yarn, so there is some pilling to it. But I do think it's a really fun shawl. It's nice to wear, and I think it's kind of cute styled with this leather cuff, and that was something I had found on Etsy a few years ago. So that is what I am wearing today. I have one finished object. This is the Antler Hat, or I guess it's officially called the Antler Toque, Toque, by tincanknits. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. And it is a worsted weight yarn that I used, and this yarn was new to me. This was by a Discovery of Stitches on Etsy in the Fathom colorway. And I know last week on the camera it shows up a little bit brighter than it is in person. It's still lovely and a vibrant blue, but maybe not quite so bright as you're seeing on the camera. And this gift is for a man in our town for Christmas. So I'm not going to say who, because I know I do have sometimes some local people who watch. So I don't want to say right now who it's for, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. I love those cute antler-like cables. They're really fun to make. And again, making them without the cable needle just helped it go along really quickly. So that is my one and only finished object for today. Another Christmas gift knit done. So really happy about that. I do have 3 works in progress to go over. So let's see. The first one I will show you. I really had hoped that I would finish this for today, but this is the second sock of my, I guess I'm calling them my Victorian Christmas socks. This yarn is by Bumblebee Acres Farm. Excuse me, my nose is a little itchy. In the colorway Victorian Christmas. And I've got that little green for the heel flap and gusset. So I'm all the way down the leg, all the way down the foot, and I literally have maybe like 1 or 2 more rounds to go, and then the toe. So I really wished I could have pushed through and done it last night, but yeah, I was just kind of tired. So It will get done very, very soon though, so very close, but I'll be excited to have this finished pair of socks for Christmas. All right, my other work in progress, a sock whip, is my Gingerbread House socks. This is a DK weight pattern. I think I showed the first one finished last week. And I should show you the bags I'm using because they're Christmassy. So the Gingerbread House, going back to that, is actually in this cute little mouse bag that I've shown before. And both these bags I'm going to show are kind of mice themed bags. And they are from, there is a tag inside, Cottontail Farm on Etsy. So I just think that print is so sweet. And Mom, if you're watching, you will know, of course, why the little mice kind of caught my eye when I saw this print. There's kind of a little mouse story with my daughter Jenna, but I just love those cute little Christmas mice on there. So then my Gingerbread House sock is living in this other bag with the sweet little Christmas mice on it. And this is just such a perfect little sock size bag for carrying around or tucking in my purse on the go. But in that bag is my Gingerbread House sock. So this is a DK weight sock. I am using the DK Vanilla sock pattern by Kay of the Crazy Sock Lady designs. And I have completed the cuff and the leg. I did the heel flap and gusset, and I got through the decreases this morning when I was gone somewhere, which I'll talk a little bit about in chatter. And I just wanted to show this cute little progress keeper. Hopefully you can see that, the little plate of Christmas cookies. I just think that is so sweet, and I don't remember for sure if that's a Little Bitty Delights or a Simply Serving progress keeper, but it is just so fun and Christmassy and a little bit of sparkly. So I thought that kind of matched so sweet with those little speckles and the Christmas theme. So making really good progress, and that also is a second sock. So almost 2 Christmas pairs of Christmas socks completed, so that's kind of exciting. The third and final whip that I have to share is my sweater. This is the Lola Chic sweater by Annie Lupton. Here is the front of the sweater, and I showed the front done last week, and then this is the progress I have made this week. So from where the stitch marker is, so it's about, I believe it's about 7 inches up. And I need to go to knit stockinette to 8 inches, and then I start doing some of the shoulder shaping. So definitely getting a lot of work done on this sweater. I had asked last week if anybody had worked with this yarn before. It is Berroco DK Vintage, and it's a blend of wool, nylon, and acrylic. And this sweater was looking a little short to me, so I asked if anybody had experience with knitting with this yarn, and then furthermore blocking your sweater. And so Amy, a viewer, did put a comment on YouTube, and I appreciate it. So thank you, Amy, that she had knit a sweater, the Campside Cardi, and with this yarn, and she blocked it, and she said it has grown and grown. So now I was worried that it might be too short, but now maybe the sweater will grow too long. So we will have to see what happens. I guess this sweater and this yarn will be what it's going to be. So maybe it'll just be a surprise what the final length of this sweater will be. But hopefully at least it'll be a wearable sweater. I guess I'd rather have it a little on the long side than the too short side. So hopefully it'll grow just enough to the perfect length. Wouldn't that be wonderful? That would just be a dream. So not much more to go on the back of the sweater, and then I seam it together at the shoulders and pick up for the sleeves. So my goal for the end of November is to have the 2 pair of socks done, and then I would also like to have this sweater done. When I started this sweater, I really wasn't intending to do it. I kind of figured it would at least go into the end of December and probably into the beginning of January, and it still might, you know, things can come up, but I would love to have this done by the end of November. I just think that would be great to have those projects off the needles and ready to start some fresh new Advent projects in the month of December. So just a couple of my knitting plans that I have prior to Advent starting. One is to cast on the cuffs of the socks. I ordered a 24 stripe skein of sock yarn by Freckled Whimsy. It's actually divided into two equal skeins, so it would start at the same place in the striping sequence. But I'm going to use this for the cuffs, probably the cuffs, heels, maybe the toes, not sure yet, but definitely the cuffs. So I cast them on. I don't do 2 at a time, but I do them together at the same time, but separately. Does that make sense? So I will cast on one cuff with one needle, and then I'll get that cuff done. I'll cut the yarn, leaving that tail, and then I'll do it another needle with the yarn and make the second cuff. And that's what I did last year for my Advent socks. And so then when December 1st hits, I will have those cuffs ready to go. And then I will just simply knit, you know, day 1's stripe for that sock and continue on through the month of December. So this is a Christmas themed yarn. We'll have a little bit of trivia, just see. This is by the Wayward Tint, and so it is a Christmas themed yarn. It's from a Christmas movie. And if you would like to comment in the YouTube comments, it would be fun. The name of this yarn is I'll Wash My Hair with Snow. I'll Wash My Hair with Snow. So name that Christmas movie. It is really a lovely blue with some speckles on there. It's really fun for kind of wintry feeling. So name that Christmas movie. So that needs to get done in November. And then I also have one more hat I would like to knit. So I have this beautiful bright skein of this pinky purple yarn, and I guess I don't know exactly how it's showing up on camera, because remember my camera faces away from me, so I don't see what you're seeing right now until I watch it back and edit. But this beautiful skein of yarn is by a yarn dyer called the Fiber Dye It. That's a cute name. And the name of the yarn is Genie. And this dyer has a collection of yarn in her shop based on the I Dream of Jeannie show. So I believe there's like a Major Nelson, maybe a Lieutenant Healy, if I have those correct. So some really fun colored yarns in her shop based on that. So I thought that was really sweet, but I love this color. And so the hat I'm planning to make, I guess I'm still on a cable hat kick. This is the Blushing Braids Beanie, and that is by Amy Kate Sutherland, who is a very young designer. She's a college student who has many wonderful crochet and knitting patterns. And she also has a podcast called The Graceful Tangle. So she is lovely to watch. She is a super fast knitter and crocheter and a lovely pattern designer. And this cable hat just looked like so much fun to do. So that is, I'm saying this, I hope this is my last Christmas gift knit for 2021. Hopefully, unless I think of something else that I think I need to make for someone, but I'm hoping this will be it. But it's worsted weight, so it'll go by pretty fast. Yeah, so those are my knitting plans. Last week I had talked about some ideas for Advent. And that was really fun to share some different projects on Ravelry that could be used with Advent calendars. And I did have a few people comment on YouTube with some more ideas, so I would like to share those here with you now. So the first was the So Faded Sweater by Andrea Mowry, which is a fingering weight sweater. So you could use your minis to do that, or leftover scraps of fingering weight yarns. You could use that in a So Faded Sweater. There is a hat. It's called Full of Minis by Barbara Nalewko. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that close to right. And that looks like a really fun hat. Very interesting construction, it looks like to me. I'm not really familiar. I know I saw that hat before, but I'm glad that it came across. I'm glad somebody mentioned that hat again, because it really is a very interesting looking hat. The Land of Sweets cowl by Helen Stewart, also a fingering weight cowl, and it's a very tall cowl using all 24 skeins. So, and I suppose if you didn't want to make it that long, you certainly could, you know, use just as many minis as you wanted and stop it early. So that's fingering weight, but I think you could also adjust some of these for DK weight as well. The Color Craze Shawl by Tammy Gore is also a fingering weight shawl. I don't think specifically designed for Advent minis, but certainly adaptable for minis or for scraps of fingering weight yarn you have in your stash. Someone had mentioned that they make scrappy socks, that she's made both unmatched and matched. So similar to what I'm doing with this, you could have, you know, you could start your cuff with day 1 color and do that, and then just continue in sequence. You could divide your minis each day in half and knit the socks that way. Or you could just start with day 1 and go through day 12 on one sock, and then do 13 through 24 on the second sock. And you really could have fun playing with, you know, any leftover fingering weight yarns in your stash to make some fun scrappy socks. That is nothing that I have done before, but I am really intrigued. I love the idea of scrappy striped socks. I just think that would be so fun. And I guess I don't really know why I haven't done that before, except maybe all the weaving in of ends, but it's just a necessary thing you got to do. So I know people use different methods sometimes, the Russian join or the weave in Steven method. I know Crazy Sock Lady has a tutorial on how she weaves in her ends, so maybe in the new year that will have to be one of my new things that I try, is a pair of scrappy socks. Getting back to the list, the 10 stitch blanket by Frankie Brown could be used with any weight of yarn, so left over any kind of weight of yarn to make that blanket. Some new patterns that popped up, I believe this month, the Sugar Plum Fairy Advent Shawl, a fingering weight shawl by Crystal T Knits. Oh, this one looks really, really fun. I'm really excited about the shawl that I picked, that I showed you last week for fingering weight yarn, but this one is, yeah, this one is very, very beautiful too. I'm really excited to see that shawl. And then the last one is the Scattering Petals Cowl by Dana Ray Makes, and it looks like you hold fingering doubled to get a DK weight, so you could use DK or fingering weight to make that beautiful cowl. So those are just a few more suggestions for you, and of course I'd love it and welcome it if you want to share any other ideas, yeah, in the YouTube group, so, or in the YouTube comments. So just a little bit of chatter. I normally podcast or record a podcast in the morning, but today it is about 1 or 1:30, almost 2 in the afternoon. This morning, my husband Jeff and I went over to see my son's esports team. Our son Aaron, who teaches at the high school, he teaches math, is also the esports, electronic sports coach. And so his team, some of his kids made it to state. And so they were competing with other schools, 2 different games they were playing. So it was a lot of fun to go watch our son in his profession and our son interact with his students. That was really great. They got 4th place for the first game that they played, and then the second video game they got 3rd place. So I think he was okay, happy with it. So I know he's proud of his kids. So that's what we did this morning. And then also this past Sunday night, Jenna and I went to Omaha to see Hamilton. It was the last night of the performance. We've never seen it before. She has seen the musical on Disney Plus, but we went to see the musical, and it was fantastic. It was in a beautiful old theater, and it was a wonderful production. I absolutely love going to see live shows like that. It's a real treat, and it's a rare occurrence that we do that. But it was Jenna's first big live musical to go see, and she was just thrilled. So I'm glad I got to share that experience with her. And then yesterday, it's been a very musical week. Yesterday, Jeff's choir had been accepted to sing as part of a music conference and a music educators conference in Lincoln, where the conference was being held. And so his choir performed yesterday. They had a 20-minute portion of a concert, and he directs the women's choir, and they did an absolutely beautiful job. It was just thrilling. So a lot of work by Jeff and a lot of work and rehearsal time for the ladies in the choir. It all paid off because it was so well done, and so proud of my husband and the students. So that was really great. And then he treated me out to lunch, so that was really special too. I guess that is all the chatter. Just a busy week, and now I am officially on Thanksgiving break, which is fun. And Jeff has a little bit of grading left to do today, and then he will be officially on Thanksgiving break. We get all of next week off, so that's really fun. I am going to be taking next week off of podcasting for Thanksgiving. We will have all our kids home, and so lots of probably should do some cleaning, but to be honest, probably just a lot of knitting. So some cleaning, maybe lots of knitting, and certainly lots of cooking and preparing for Thanksgiving. Let's see, I think that is it. So no podcast next week, but then I will be back with you, and it will already be December, and I will already be starting on some of those advent calendar projects and those advent calendar socks. So that will be really fun to share. If you liked this video, I sure would love it if you would give me a thumbs up and be a subscriber if you haven't already. And if you'd like to join in the Holly Jolly make-along on Ravelry, that would be great. Lots of time to make lots of fun, festive things during this time of year. So with that, I will stop for today. I hope if you celebrate Thanksgiving, if you're in the United States, I hope that you have a wonderful and blessed Thanksgiving. I hope that you have all been well, and I wish you well for the next couple of weeks until I see you again. I hope you have fun with your creative makings and Christmas makings if you are making things for the holidays. So I will hope to see you real soon. Take care. Happy making. Bye-bye.